Okay, says we're live. So, Rin, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So I was just explaining to Rin that I was trying to get voice meter working, which would allow me to play Rin's video through the stream with good quality sound, but I can't get the fucker working. That's why I'm late. So I'm sorry about that. So instead, we might just, I mean, you obviously remember your video, so we might just sort of go through a few of the points. Um, I noticed at the end of your video you're very sort of, I know it's going to get hate, and I don't care, come at me, motherfuckers. But I honestly, I don't think it was an unreasonable video. I disagree with some of your points. I think some of the sort of conclusions you might have come to are a bit off, but we'll discuss them. But I certainly don't think it's anything that deserves a scathing response or any hate type thing. So do you want to take us through your video or your talking points as you remember them?
Well, I was referring to like a conversation because like when I very first heard that you were when I very first heard that Christy Winters got you suspended from Twitter, I was really, really pissed. I was really, really angry. I was mad. I mean, you could like if people look at my tweets, they would see that I've been, tweeting out like videos about the issue, like from like very nearly viral. That's when I first heard of them, and I think that there's another anti-feminist YouTuber called Brooks. I was really, really pissed and angry at the time. I was really mad, and you can see that in my Twitter timeline. Then I got like in a debate. It was a civil debate
Yep.
with David Sharrat and
So that's
Christian.
uh, that's that's Spino. That's Spino, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Spinosaurus scan.
Yep.
And they were trying to, explain the other end of it. So I was trying to not be partisan, I tried to be as neutral as possible. And I was, trying to present the other side where I was kind of a lot like, why does she leave have me blocked and a bunch of other people blocked who would have a civil conversation. But when it comes to you and Sargon of Akkad, she leaves them unblocked. And from what I heard from David Sherratt, he told me it's because his fans would contact her instead, and so she figures why bother. But still, I just don't trust personally. I just don't trust Christy Winters, and the reason why is because I saw her video called "Objective Shine the Object," and she said how she got you really good, like she got you really, really good because
Yeah.
the objective was to get you to respond to her and waste all of your time going
Yeah.
on her instead
Yeah.
of bothering other bedroom feminists. But there
Yeah. Yeah.
is a
That was
flaw.
that was quite funny. So they've come up with a plan to feed me a heap of content so I can make lots of videos, get lots of views, and make lots of money. That's well done, guys. um, but it is a bit disingenuous, isn't it? Just to sort of to claim on one hand that yes, we've gone after Bering and we've baited him and we've done everything in our power to make sure that he comes after us, and then to cry victim and say, oh, he's bullying me. I mean, that's really pathetic.
No, no, that's not where I was coming from. To me, this is the red flag. The red flag for me is why go after Sargon? Because Sargon hasn't made a single response video to you. Wouldn't make any sense to go after Sargon and having like 21 videos on Sargon with Sargon's ignoring her the whole entire time.
Yeah.
To me, that's the part that makes her argument disingenuous. To me, what's really going on is that she's an obsessive person And the fact that you responded gives an excuse for her obsession. Now she gets to make herself, not seem as obsessed. But it wouldn't make any sense to have any videos on Sargon because
Yeah.
he doesn't go after bedroom feminists.
Yeah, yeah. Well. To be fair, either do I anymore. Really, I mean, there's none around. But I mean, I think that the narrative that they push, this whole Bearing attacks bedroom feminists, constantly is a bit ridiculous. I went after some bedroom feminists back in the day when I first started, but the story that he attacks 12-year-olds and things like that is just is ridiculous. It was actually made up during a live stream by fucking Armored Skeptic and Shoe on Head, but which kind of put me off them. But anyway, but I noticed you went into you sort of touched on the fact that you thought that my Twitter might have been targeted as part of what you sort of call in a culture war. Can you sort of talk about that?
Yeah, because again, like I've been talking to the other side and tried to, get their point of view. And in Sargon, getting Christiosity, the 12-hour ban came up. I forgot from whom, but um, Sargon came up and said, well, he gave Christiosity the 12-hour ban, and there's a video up. And, I didn't see the video where, he went, he made a video talking about going out of Christiosity, and it's still up on his channel. So it's like, well, okay, so that could be it.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, I hope. I mean, certainly as far as I'm concerned, there's no tit for tat culture war. As far as YouTube goes. I mean, there might be a culture war. I think that term's a bit cringy, but I mean, I certainly wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't target anyone and do anything like a flagging campaign or anything like that, because and try to use the fact that someone else on quote unquote the other side has done it to one of us type thing. Like I wouldn't go after Christiosity or Christy because they flagged Sargon. In fact, I wouldn't even go after Christy Winters after she's had my Twitter suspended. It's just not. I'm not going to do it. I've always been about I've always sort of been a staunch defender of freedom of expression, and it just doesn't fit with that. Even if she has done it to me, it's still wrong to do it back to her, I think. So, and that, I mean, I'd hate to think that anyone in my audience would target her like that either. I mean, I don't think that I don't think that she should be retaliated to in kind. I think it's just pathetic.
This is how I understand the culture war. I was watching a YouTube video by V. I don't know if you've heard of him or not, but
yeah. V's a great YouTuber.
Yeah, he talked about it, and he says like when you go to a normal person's Twitter, they're gonna be focusing like on their kids, the movies. They're not going to be, very partisan, very political and whatnot. Your average everyday person is going to use their Twitter to talk to their friends, talk to their family members, talk to their boyfriend and pop culture, what movies that they've seen. But when he's talking about a culture war, it's kind of like the people who tend to be very militant to the other side, very hostile, where they would have a bunch of tweets complaining about the enemy and whatnot, or they want to, report the enemy, or here's how it kind of came to like real life, where Christy Winters and Steve Shives tried to get like Sargon of Akkad shut out of Milwaukee by calling Sargon a Nazi. Or it's kind of a lot like how Based Mama has a video where she talked about the Kilroy event got called a Nazi event, and somebody posted on Twitter a screenshot of Christy Winters saying that Richard Spencer should be at Kilroy, because I just think she just wanted to cause troubles, so she could say, "Oh, look, this person wants to see white ethno-steak, and they want to have a reasonable conversation with them." So I just think that Christy Winters is just out to just cause trouble. To me, she does so many things that just raises a red flag, where she just seems like a horrible, awful human being.
Yeah, they're sort of done out of spite. Yeah, so I get what you're saying. So I mean, you would think, and I mean, she said it before, that she politically and sort of ideologically opposes someone like Richard Spencer with a passion, yet she would happily promote him and suggest that he speaks at this Kilroy event, just despite the people who are speaking at the Kilroy event. It's pathetic, and it's petty.
Yeah, Christy Winter strikes me as the type who would actually work hand in hand with Hitler just to screw over Sargon or you.
with Hitler. Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot like, it's kind of the moment you find yourself going, "Hey, this alt-right guy who wants to white ethno-steak and for the black people to move to Florida, that's fine." But Sargon, like, oh no, like he's just awful. He must be stopped no matter what. So we just got to destroy Sargon.
He sent a misogynistic tweet. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. That's a bit ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, so that's my take. That was the main reason I wanted to respond to you, because I mean, one of the main points you sort of you brought up was the whole tit for tat. This is my side, this is your side, and we're going to get each other back and all that sort of thing. And I don't. I mean, I'm mates with Sargon. I look up to Sargon. He was an influence on me starting my channel and that sort of thing. But I certainly wouldn't say, me and Sargon are on the same side. If there's ever a time that we disagree with each other, we fucking tell each other. We'd make a video about each other. So, I mean, I don't subscribe to this sides thing. And I think, I mean, who do you remember who it was who told you that? Because it surprises me that, it'd have to be a fairly petty person for someone to sort of explain it to you like that. I mean, did they?
I would explain this side, that side. I'll explain that. It's kind of a lot like how feminists get called SJWs. It's just a way to categorize people who make similar content, or how you call people alt-right, just to categorize everybody who makes similar content, or where you categorize a person as an anti-feminist because it's a genre. It's just people who tend to make somewhat similar content.
I get the labeling. I mean, labeling certain types of content creators, as a certain label, that's completely reasonable. I get that. That's just a mental shortcut. But it sort of goes a bit further than that, when, like, if people are truly out there sort of thinking, well, Chrisiosity, who's on the other side, did this to this guy who's on my side, so now I'm going to get this person on there. That goes a bit further than just labels. That actually sort of cements it into okay, well, we're playing on teams now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but there are some people who genuinely hate people who make that type of content, even though, like, you may not, even though you may think, well, I disagree with Sargon here and I disagree with Sargon there. Sure. Both of you hate, well, hate is a strong word. Both of you have criticized feminism.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, yeah, to sort of invest in it that far, where you're waging this tit for tat war, is just ridiculous, And I suppose, I mean, I noticed that you ended your video by saying, I know this video is going to get hate, which I don't think it will, because I think you were being reasonable, and you're coming from a good place. But I noticed you said as well, you know, so if you guys want to continue this war, be my guest type thing. Now, you know, as I reiterate, I've never flagged anyone for anything, and I don't intend to. So I certainly won't be continuing any war.
Yeah, like in the video that you're criticizing, I also took a screenshot of, comments, and the comments that I took a screenshot of came from some dumb American's channel. I went through her channel where she was criticizing Sargon, which was like 4 months ago, and I did put a link to it. And you can see people who were like, it's fair game. We should be able to flag Christianity and whatnot. And I also took a screenshot of Tim Blake, or a motivator, well, whatever his channel's name is. I took a
Dripping with
screenshot.
autism.
I took a screenshot of his Twitter actually being permanently suspended. He's on a different Twitter now, but his original Twitter got permanently suspended. And there was also a screenshot going around of which feminist or SJW channels to target. And I think Kevin Logan got his channel taken down.
Oh, I remember that. Was that originally on Poll or something? That was a few months ago.
Yeah, that was on like 4chan poll.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. The funny thing is, I actually remember reaching out to Kevin and saying, look, is there anything I can do? How can we how can we stop this type thing? So to have him sort of jump on this bandwagon of fuck bearing is a disgusting person. He should have been banned off Twitter. Was a bit disappointing. The other thing was the part where you spoke about like a loophole, like where someone's audience will contact people on your behalf type thing. I think that's sort of referring to, there was one time where I had asked, and it's the only time I've ever done it, I asked my audience to ask Christy a question, and it was in response to an accusation she directed at me. And so your comments were that, when someone blocks someone, say on Twitter, like say Christy blocked me, it's pretty unfair if there's this loophole where people in my audience will sort of go around that block and communicate with her. And I remember you compared it to Jess Phillips and Sargon's wouldn't even rape you tweet sort of thing. And the key difference there is that Jess Phillips wasn't making Jess Phillips has never made videos about Sargon. So the only way that analogy would work is if Jess Phillips was making video after video about Sargon, yet had him blocked, and then Sargon sent people to speak to her type thing. So I think that was the key difference there. So in the periods where she has had me blocked, and there has been a couple, but it seems to only ever be for a month or two. She'd block me, but she wouldn't stop making videos about me. She'd still keep having to go at me in video form. So I think it's just a key difference there. Like I think you've always got the right to respond to to accusations or to criticism when someone levels them at you, even if they do have you blocked on Twitter.
Yeah, I was repeating in the video what David Sherrod's or Spinosaurus can. He goes by Alternative Facts now. Yeah. I was repeating what he told me. Like, he was telling me this, and I thought it would be unfair to leave the other side out and just it to be a demonizing, Christy Winters thing. To me, it would be more objective to present, the thoughts of the other side.
Yeah, that's fair enough. No, I thought I'd just point out how the analogy doesn't work because because Jess Phillips wasn't making videos about Sargon, where in the times where Christie's blocked me on Twitter, she hasn't stopped making video after video after video after video, as on YouTube. So I don't think that that someone should be able to block you on Twitter and then expect that you're not even going to respond to, you know, to criticism or to accusations on YouTube.
Yeah, I didn't even really think about that because I don't really pay all that much attention to Christy Witzhurst. I don't watch her content, so I don't go on her channel. Like I've been there like a couple of times at most, and you know, I just like I said, I don't trust her, but I do have like common friends. Like we do have friends in common, but
Yeah.
I personally don't trust her. It's kind of like what Noel Plum was saying. I showed a clip of that. Well, I didn't show a clip of the whole thing, obviously, it's too long. But earlier in the original video, I think it's like 2 minutes or 5 minutes of the original video. And it's a lot like, Ivy is your dear friend, and you love Ivy or this header so much, yet you're going to leave Sargon unblocked, and you're going to like taunt him using the name of your dead friend. You know, it's kind of like it just seems like, you know, Christy Winters used her dead friend to start more trouble because Sargon is not, you know, his friend. He doesn't have to care about her friend. So why is she going to leave him unblocked and use her dead friends to provoke him?
Yeah, I know what you mean, and she was on that for a while. She was demanding an apology for, you know, for being insensitive about her friend that died. Well, yeah, I get exactly what you mean. You know, Sargon doesn't have to be sensitive. He doesn't have to be fucking, you know, he doesn't have to you know, give condolences. He can do whatever he wants. He doesn't know this person. You know, millions of people die every day. You know, we don't give them condolences, and you know. So I get what you mean.
Yeah.
So I think that's just about everything sort of covered that I sort of wanted to talk about. Is there anything else? Is there anything else that's relevant to this that you can think of?
Not that I could think of, no.
All right. So how's your channel going anyway?
You know, it's growing, you know, slowly, but it is growing. I'm up to 416 subscribers now.
That's good. And so, what sort of apart from this, I am subscribed to you, but I sort of catch every few videos. What sort of content are you creating? What do you have planned for the near future?
Believe it or not, I ad lib most of my videos. It's very spontaneous for me. You know, like if I see something trending on Twitter or if I see something interesting, I just make a video on it. So I'm just, you know, spontaneous.
Yeah, fair enough. I see. I watched the one that you put out earlier today, and in fact, I think it was only a couple of hours ago. Christy seems to have pissed you. You got so fucking angry at the end of that.
Yeah, like, you know, what she did, you know, because I'm friends with Beast Mama, and I know that Kilroy is very important to her.
Yeah.
And I know that Christy Winters is just trying to start trouble when she was all like, you know, invite Richard Spencer, because she did try to get like the Milwaukee thing shut down by calling Sargon a Nazi. So, you know, I just got so angry, and I was like, you are a horrible human being, you know.
That's a really good point. So yeah, so I sort of didn't, that sort of hypocrisy didn't register with me. So on one hand, she's like shut down MythCon because Sargon the Nazi is coming, so shut it all down. It shouldn't happen. This is ridiculous. This is an outrage. And then she sort of petitions to get fucking Richard Spencer to speak at Kilroy. What the fuck is going on in her head?
Yeah, and there was somebody on their side, I forgot who. I don't really know who, but they're like, it gets Amos Yee there. Like, yeah, talk to Amos Yee. And it's like, what the? I mean, how partisan could you be? You hate, you know, Etsy so much that you would promote pedophilia, you would promote white, it's not white nationalism just to screw the anti-feminist over.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, because they've disagreed with you.
Yeah, it adds true to the claim. Like it was Sinatra that made the claim that feminist hates, anti-feminist far more than they hates the alt right.
Yeah, I think he was right too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, no worries. Well, I think that's about everything covered. So yeah, yeah, thanks for joining me. I think it was worthwhile sort of having a direct chat rather than sort of just responding to your video. So if everyone wants to have a look at Rin's channel, I've got your video there linked in the description. So as I said, Rin did a pretty scathing video directed towards Christy Winters earlier too. That's worth a watch.
Yeah, she really made me angry. Like I was just so incredibly angry. You can really tell at the end that I was just not having it.
Yeah, no, you weren't too happy. But all right, look, thanks again, and thanks everyone for watching. I may be doing another stream shortly to introduce you to a new YouTuber, but we'll see how we go. But thanks again, everyone, and I'll see you all later.
Bye bye.